Hello again and welcome to DanWhiteFilms, where we discuss and review all the latest cinema releases. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the latest Disney live-action film, Cruella. I'll be honest, I haven't really watched many Disney live-action remakes. They aren't really my cup of tea. When I was a wee boy, I did my fair viewing of Disney animation pictures, and yes, I'd watched the original 101 Dalmatians about 101 times. Although when I look back now, I can only really remember a dog named Pongo and a man playing a song on a piano while an old woman bashes a ceiling with a broom. Good times. Cruella is less a live action remake of the original tale and more of a reimagining. It takes the antagonist Cruella de Vil and tells her origin story from a talented fashion designer to a mentally unstable genius. Directing the show, we have Craig Gillespie, whose previous works include the film I, Tonya, and The Finest Hours. I went into this one completely neutral. I'd heard good and bad things about these Disney reimaginings, with some seeing it as a shameless cash grab, while others being excited for the heavy hit of nostalgia that will no doubt course their veins. As the story unravels in the first 20 or so minutes, I was left feeling as I'd expected. The plot was okay, the story at one point a little strange, but I must admit, my annoyance didn't last for long. Once this film gets going, it's all rather enjoyable and is accentuated by some strong performances by both Emma Stone playing Estella Miller, also known as Cruella, and Emma Thompson playing the character of the Baroness von Hellman, a narcissistic head of a large London fashion label. These two never really get on at any point in the film and develop a rivalry that produces some fantastic chemistry on the big screen. I'd also like to note that this film has, put simply, style. The setting is great, the atmosphere is dramatic, and the music really adds to the whole suspense. It's a film that looks, sounds, and feels very well polished. The filmmakers did a great job at capturing the era of the time and produced, and this is coming from my perspective, someone who is really fashion inept, some fantastic costume and fashion designs. At least to my eye. I thought they looked good. Did they? We'll never know. Emma Stone splits between the uncaring Cruella and the more compassionate Estella throughout this film. You start by spending time with Estella, who becomes an orphan at a young age, and later see the transition from Estella into Cruella, who ditches any notion of care and compassion for others. This change would have come across as rather cringe-inducing had the performance been poorly performed, but that isn't the case here. It's wholly believable in the context of the film. You see the split of someone who cares and another who's learned to stop caring entirely for others, and this is a great nod towards the apathy one may start to feel when either depressed or after experiencing a life of hardship and emotional turmoil. So in that regard, hats off, not quite literally. I can't take this hat off, it's actually glued on my head. But the black and white and the polarization between Cruella and Estella, it's a great thing to watch. Now on what I didn't like, and that mainly comes in the form of comic relief. Disney absolutely loves to use some light comedy in its films. In fact, they use the same type of character, and well, it's all getting very much the same. In this film, you've got the character Horace Bandham, played by Paul Walter Hauser. He quips in with lines designed to add humour, and I feel it's just not really needed. You had a solid film here without humour pandering. This same format of character seems to pop up everywhere, and I'm bored of it. Despite the film having darker tones, you've got this forced humour that sure, some may really love, but for me, no, it's just unnecessary. I'll admit in some films it works really well, most notably in The Avengers, but not here. I feel so many films are trying to copy what happens in Marvel films, and it's a format that's been beaten to death. I really felt this film could have been more serious, but then I must remind myself that this is a Disney picture and they really seem adamant on avoiding that. The ending is somewhat predictable, but there's certainly enough twists in this film to keep you engaged throughout. As I mentioned earlier, this is a film that oozes style and class, and it captures and portrays these elements, certainly to my satisfaction. It is not afraid to be daring, and the subtle nods to black and white, from one to another, are all over the place, waiting for you to find them, some obvious and others not. So despite a rocky start, I enjoyed this work, and I'll admit that I was very surprised. The performance by the two leads is fantastic, and the plot adds plenty of life to an old tale. And if you stay right up until the end, you may even be gifted with a scene you once remembered as a small child. But don't expect anything exceptional here. This film is a good way up that mountain, but it's hindered by its want to conform with certain formalities in modern cinema, and that is a shame. My friends, thank you very much for watching this film review. I hope to see you here again soon, where we will review another cinema blockbuster. I don't really know what, because I don't think there's much out at the moment, but I'll find something. Until then, bye-bye.